So he asked me about, how about your family? Do you have a wife, children? How about them? He asked me that, how about them in the post raid of the USA? What happened to them? What will happen to them in the future? I stated to him in my response, my reply, my answer to his question. Allah states in the Quran in Surah 28, Ayah 37. Remember when my honorable noble cousin Musa, Prophet Moses, when he went to Pharaoh, want to save my persecuted cousins that time? They were under persecution by Pharaoh. And Moses himself uh, he was the adopted child, adopted son of Pharaoh. So he went to Pharaoh according to Allah's orders to save my cousins because they paid for the penalty for whatever. See, Allah does not punish people for nothing. Their parents, the descendants of Israel, Jacob, the 10 brothers, let's say 9 of them, they wanted to kill their brother Yusuf, but then they sold them into slavery. So Allah took them to Egypt, made them suffer slavery, and Allah says in the Torah that the punishment goes to the parents and up to their 4th generation. If you think that you are doing something good for your children by committing all these crimes, you think that, okay, let me take the punishment, but my descendants, let them live happy after that. No, 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 no. Allah is putting us on notice. Not just if we commit a crime, we'll get the punishment, but our children, our descendants up to the 4th generation are going to have the penalty. So the descendants of Israel, the descendants of Jacob from his 4 wives, according to the Quran, he fulfilled the Quranic obligation. Prophet Jacob, my uncle, honorable uncle Jacob, he married 4 wives, 2 free women, Lina and Rahel, and 2 slave women, Zulfa. What's the name of the other one? I don't recall her other name. Anyhow, these 2 slaves were the slaves of his 2 other wives. So they were in Egypt, in a land that's not theirs. That's what God states in the Torah. So they paid the penalty, they paid the price for the sin that were committed before. Now it's the time for them to get out, to have a new life, new page in their life. So now they deserve the freedom, they deserve their life, they deserve their liberty, and deserve pursuit of happiness. So God sends Moses to save them. As a prophet, a messenger, he sent him to Pharaoh to talk to Pharaoh. But in the argument, in the discussion, what happened? So on his part, the honorable noble prophet Moses, my cousin, he said, my Lord Allah knows best who it is to come act according to the guidance from Allah. Who is on the true guidance? Who is true here? Who has the case? On whose side is justice? Allah knows. And in other words, say, I am on the right. I have the right cause. I want to take those, my brothers and sisters, the Israelis, I want to take them out of Egypt. Enough is enough of the persecution. And Allah himself, knows best who's going to be successful in the hereafter. Not just in this life, but in the hereafter, on the judgment day, he knows he's going to be successful then too. Verily, certainly, the evil, wicked, wrongdoers will not be successful. If they'll be successful in this life, they will not be successful in the hereafter. That's what my honorable, noble prophet Moses said to Pharaoh. And also, in my answer, I stated what Joseph, that young, handsome, lovely child, Joseph, his story is in the Quran. This whole chapter, whole surah, surah number 12. The only surah in the Quran that you have the story of somebody in one chapter. That's the surah of Yusuf. And Yusuf is not mentioned in the Quran anywhere else except in this surah and one time in another surah. One time. Okay? So, when that woman, remember the story, they are almost the same in the Quran and the Bible. They are almost the same for very little variation, and they could be consolidated, and you could come up with one story. When that woman that he used to live, Yusuf, Prophet Yusuf, my cousin, the noble, honorable Prophet, Messenger, Joseph, Yusuf. You call him Yusuf, you call him Joseph. The beloved son of the beloved wife, Rahel, Rachel, the wife of my uncle, the noble, honorable uncle, Jacob. So when that woman, he was living in her house as a slave, he was a young man, handsome, very handsome, and that woman, she wanted, anyone would see that Joseph, any woman, she just wanted to grab him. So handsome, high moral. We are going to see that he is as handsome as he had very high morale too. At the same time, that there was competition between his morale and his beauty, his beauty. They were in competition. You don't know which one is on the top. So he refused to commit adultery with that woman. He refused. He rejected. And he was still virgin. He never had the experience. And he refused. She's his master. Who is he? According to the statute, at that time, the worldly statute in the community, let's say, he's a slave. And she's the master. But in Allah's eyes, Yusuf was a top. That's what counts. What counts is how do we look in front of Allah, not in front of the people. It's good, it's important how to look in front of the people. But also the first thing, priority, is how nice we look in front of Allah. So he said to her, in refusing and rejecting her attempts to seduce him, he said, after what she did, and she, that woman, in whose house he, Joseph, was in her house, she tried to seduce him, and she locked the doors, she wanted to rape him. She locked the doors, and then she said to him, come on, let's go. Let's go to bed. He refused. Then she said to him, oh, come on, you Yusuf. He said, I seek refuge in Allah. I seek the protection from Allah